Hi, I'm Jon-Mark Hurley. I am an actor, music teacher, and sometimes photographer. All around great guy.
Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me today and introduce yourself to me and to everyone watching. Can I ask you first, what do you think people's first impression of you is?
Great question. I think people's first impression of me is somebody who is filled with joy and enthusiasm, passion, and not afraid to take on anything.
I love that. I think not being afraid to take on anything is kind of how you came to this interview. Like, okay, sure, why not? Fear aside, let's talk.
It's true. Yeah.
I love that. Well, I'm grateful for it too. So you talked about passion. What do you think that you do that gives people the impression that you're passionate?
That too is a really great question. I think that when I speak with people or when people first meet me, they understand that what they see on the outside isn't necessarily all that's reflected on the inside. For instance, I am a very intelligent person. I have my master's degree in music from Belmont University, and I started playing piano at age 5. Another thing people sort of don't quite get is that I'm really opinionated. The thing about my opinions is that I don't necessarily state them all the time. So I've learned a little bit about keeping my opinions to themselves. So there's a deep well down in this person, and that's the part that doesn't necessarily come across. So I think when I open my mouth and begin to speak, people get a clue that it's more than just joy and happiness or a smile or all around great guy. That there's some intelligence that backs that up.
There's a serious side to Jon-Mark.
Yes, there's experience there, you know?
Yes, absolutely. Speaking of experience, I want to talk about your degree in music. And you said you have a master's?
Sure. I do. I have my master's in music from Belmont University in piano pedagogy. Now, that means the study of teaching people piano.
Which I'm guessing you do, because you said you were a music teacher.
I do. I teach piano to teens and adults, sometimes young children, and I also am a voice teacher.
So you sing?
I do sing.
Want to sing for me?
Sure. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high.
Okay, did you know that The Wizard of Oz is my favorite?
I didn't know that The Wizard of Oz was your favorite, but I've watched that since I was a child, of course. I used to love when it came on CBS once a year. My whole family would get together and watch. Incredible, right?
Yes. No, same. I had the Betamax tape in the yes, thank you. And so that happened. So I had things that I watched in rotation, and it was like, it was Mary Poppins, it was Wizard of Oz. And I mean, I'm pretty much sure my mom could attest I wore the tape out. So yeah, I
awesome.
No, I love it. So that was so perfect for you to pick that. You have an amazing voice.
Thank you. I've actually musical directed that musical a couple of times.
Lucky you.
Yeah, it's a very fun musical to get to musical direct. Different than the movie, actually.
So I do want to talk about your singing and your acting. So I know you said you teach piano. You're also a vocal teacher, or a voice teacher.
Yep.
Your acting, is it on stage or is it on screen?
It has been both. I started out as a musical theater actor, and then I decided to try acting without the medium of song, and that's how I got into actually film and television. And that was a metamorphosis in my life. I actually met a singing teacher who did these different techniques with storytelling. And that person helped me connect to a deeper storytelling idea. And that singing teacher was also an actor and had me move into the medium of spoken word, basically, in that way.
So talk to me about that metamorphosis. Talk to me about how you had to internally change your focus. Talk to me about the type of energy that took for you to get to that space.
Well, in some ways, it's very much the same. But the part that's different is the singing part, and that fills a certain amount of space in your instrument so that when you drop the singing part, you're kind of left a little bare. You know, you feel a little naked, like, oh no, now the thoughts have to be, in other words, sometimes singers can fake emotion and fake reality, but there's no doing that when you don't have that layer of song. Now, the people who do it best don't do that when they sing, correct? They really put it all out there. They bare their hearts. Still, there's that cover of the medium. So it can be a little nervous making to say, oh, I'm going to leave this thing where I feel super, super comfortable in, and then just go completely spoken word. So that was a little bit of the transition for me. That was hard.
So is there a spot in your personal life where you can translate that into something you've experienced other than the acting piece, where there was something in life where those skills of transitioning and transforming from one thing to another were helpful for you?
It's a really great question. I think transitioning from being like a young adult to an older adult, all of those rocky lessons that you learn along the way. And I think paradigm shifts that you go through on your journey, where you're this person and you have these set of ideas and ideals that you live by. And then through circumstances or even just getting older, you go on a journey and things change, and somehow you're not that person that you were in your 30s or your 40s. And now you are this and you're becoming that. And I think particularly as I move closer to 50, which is a reality for me, that's.
Oh, and so what I hear there from you is really, it's all about letting go of fear and
Absolutely.
really being open to possibility and to what's next, right?
Yeah. And the thing about fear is that you think you conquer it, and you do conquer it, but then you are set up for what I experience as probably the next challenge in your life, to learn that it might be showing up again. Fear itself, or fear of anything. Like I just said, just fear, right? And that you have another opportunity to dissect and learn and get over it or conquer it.
It's all about growth, right?
It is, isn't it though?
Yes, absolutely. And personal growth is so exciting. And all of those changes and life transitions and next steps that you mentioned are all part of what form who we are. And some of those opinions you mentioned that you have come from your experiences, right?
Yeah. And also the part where you think one thing and then you go through a journey and an experience and it enlightens you, and you don't think that way. I think particularly around, just judgments of other people as well. You learn that, we're all on a journey and we're all battling right now.
What you say is exactly why I do these interviews, because the reality is what you said is the judgment piece. And we have an opinion that we have formed based on whatever it may be. And then, oh my goodness, we change that opinion once we get to know someone, or once we let our guard down. And I feel that by doing these interviews and introducing myself to so many people, and in turn, introducing your story out into the world, that people can identify, even if it's just a little bit, because we are all human beings and we are all going through things. And in a lot of times, they are the same things from somebody completely unexpected.
Yeah.
And getting to realize that we are all here sharing one earth and sharing one space together, working towards humanity.
My God, I really love that. It's
Thank
great.
you. And it's truly the way I feel. And I love doing these interviews. I have gotten to meet so many wonderful humans, and yourself included. And it's so much fun. But again, back to you, the human Jon-Mark. Let's continue on our conversation. And
Sure.
everything that you've said is so true and so important. What is something that would surprise people to know about you?
It sounds superficial, but as much as I don't drink wine, I really love wine. There is something that is so pleasurable, and the experience of opening a bottle of wine, and you kind of never know what you're going to get necessarily. But I don't, for health reasons, I don't necessarily drink. Like maybe I have a glass of wine probably 2 or 3 times a month, but I am the guy who wants to like smell the cork.
So you're a little bit of a wine connoisseur in a way. You love it.
I do have wine Spectator at my house on the coffee table and in the bathroom.
So you have a love for the art of winemaking is basically what you are saying.
I have thought about being a sommelier, I'm not gonna lie.
I too enjoy wine. I don't drink hard alcohol. I really like wine for exactly the same reasons that you're saying. I like the smell. I like the taste. I like the creation that the winemaker has made. And it's almost like art in a glass.
I think that's a great way of saying it. And again, why that is surprising is because I just don't, it's not an everyday thing for me.
Well, that is definitely an interesting thing, your love of the art of winemaking. I love that. And I think that's a neat, fun fact about you.
Thank you. I do too.
Where are you from originally?
So I am from Monterey, California, and I divide my time between Monterey and LA.
Very cool. Very cool. So you have this inner NorCal, SoCal turmoil going on with yourself.
I do. And right now, I'm just chilling out in Northern California in Monterey for the month of August. I got a little burnt out going down to LA and coming back up weekly. So I decided to take a little break and have a little August reset, which is going well. Yeah.
A little you time.
A lot of me time, actually.
That's it, but that's important to recognize that you needed that, and to hold space for yourself in that manner is huge.
Yeah. And so what's coming out of that for me is a lot of realignment spiritually, a lot of reading, a lot of sitting on the couch again. The pandemic really set the stage for sitting on the couch, didn't it? It was great in that way. But getting back up and running, that's been an interesting journey too. And the struggle of wanting to sit on the couch and feeling the tension between that and going, but I really got to make money, so.
Yeah, I totally get that. I think the couch became everyone's favorite piece of furniture for a long time, and we used it more than we ever had. I know I did. And there is that struggle. It's like, oh, I want to go socialize again, but I kind of like it right here.
Right. Yeah.
In front of the TV.
What a great choice, though. And I mean, I'm not talking from a lazy place or a lethargy idea. I'm talking about the part of choosing to be there in the surroundings that we all have paid for, or even the part of being with your family as well. So that was really great. And my family has grown way closer during the pandemic, and that has been really nice.
I'm glad to hear that. Do you have siblings?
I have a sister I'm single, but I do have an active family life. I have a sister, a married sister with 2 now adult children. She has taken in some young adults into her home and have helped them get their lives to move in positive directions. A mother and a father, and that has been a wonderful dynamic that we all really rallied together during the pandemic. I think a lot of people had that happen for them.
That's awesome. You really do so many things, and you're not joking. Once you peel back the layers, there are so many like levels to you and so many layers and so much depth. I've really enjoyed this conversation.
Well, thank you very much.
You're
I
welcome.
too have enjoyed the conversation.
I'm glad. I'm sure your favorite part was just the wine, but that's okay.
I think I have to go have a glass now. So
right. Well, with that being said, is there anything that you would like to share before I ask you our final question that you think I may have missed that people should know?
I cannot think of anything at the moment. Other than if you want to find me in places, check out jonmarkhurley.com. During the pandemic, I did a scripted comedy called The Germaphobe's Guide that I actually filmed at home with my dad as the cameraman, my mom as one of the actresses, my nephew as one of the actors, and we had a lot of fun doing that. In fact, it even won a Silver Davey Award, so.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to totally check it out. Everyone watching, go check that out. JonMarkHurley.com, right?
Click on the guide.
I love it. I love it. Well, with that being said, as we close out our conversation and you are at work, at home with your family, if you have the opportunity to hold up a sign that says one thing about you, what do you want people to know?
He is happy.